Today, we are discussing the key nutrient for male wellness and deep recovery, a specific nighttime protocol that urologists are now quietly recommending for harder erections, explosive daytime energy, and the kind of deep sleep you haven't had since your 20s. I'm Dr. Christine Rodriguez. If you've been feeling like your battery just won't hold a charge anymore, or if things in the bedroom have felt more like a chore than a natural reflex, I want you to know it's likely not just age. It's a biological deficiency that is incredibly easy to fix once you see the data. Recent clinical data shows that nearly 70% of men over the age of 45 are living in a state of chronic mineral depletion that effectively mutes their testosterone production every single night. In just a moment, I'm going to reveal the specific mineral that acts as the master key to your vascular health. But be warned, if you take the version most people buy at the grocery store, you're actually doing more harm to your digestion than good for your erections. I'll show you exactly which version to look for in just a second. Gentlemen, let's have a heart-to-heart, doctor to patient. When was the last time you woke up feeling that unmistakable, firm, natural morning erection? I'm not talking about something forced or sparked by a blue pill. I'm talking about your body functioning exactly as nature intended. If you're struggling to remember, or if it feels like a distant memory from 5 or 10 years ago, you aren't broken. You're likely just empty. Imagine your body is a high-performance classic car. You can have the best engine in the world, but if the electrical system is corroded, the spark plugs won't fire. For men over 45, that electrical system relies on one specific mineral that is being drained from your body at an alarming rate. We call this the silent collapse. When this mineral drops, 3 things happen simultaneously. Your nervous system stays on, even when you're exhausted. Your blood vessels lose their elasticity, and your hormonal production effectively goes on strike. Most GPs won't even test for this because they're looking for disease, not optimization, but I'm a urologist. I look for vitality. The tragedy is that many men spend years thinking they need TRT or heavy medications, when in reality, they just need to replenish the fuel that allows their body to relax. If you've ever felt wired but tired, where your body is dragging but your mind is racing like a treadmill at midnight, that is the classic signature of this deficiency. It's a devastating chain reaction. Your brain stays in high alert mode, which tells your body it's too dangerous to produce testosterone or send blood to the extremities. But here's the fascinating part. Once you reintroduce the correct form of this nutrient, the dominoes start falling in the opposite direction. Your veins begin to soften. Your brain finally gets the all-clear signal to shut down, and the blood flow you thought was gone forever starts to return. If I told you that the secret to your best performance wasn't a stimulant, but a relaxant, would you believe me? To understand why your performance might be flagging, we have to look at the plumbing. I want you to visualize your blood vessels not as static pipes, but as living, breathing muscles. In the medical world, we call the inner lining of these vessels the endothelium. This lining is responsible for one job: responding to the signal to expand. When you were 25, your endothelium was like a brand new, flexible surgical tube. It could expand in a heartbeat to flood the tissues with blood. But as we age, and as we lose that master mineral, magnesium, those vessels begin to calcify. They become like an old garden hose that's been sitting in the scorching sun for 3 summers. It gets stiff, it gets brittle, and no matter how much water pressure or desire you have, the hose simply cannot expand to deliver the flow. This is where science gets truly exciting. Magnesium isn't just a vitamin, it's a natural vasodilator. Inside your cells, magnesium triggers an enzyme called nitric oxide synthase. You might have heard of nitric oxide. It's the holy grail of men's health. It's the molecule that tells your arteries, hey, it's time to relax. Open up. When you are deficient, your body literally loses the ability to produce that signal. You're essentially driving with the parking brake on. By replenishing your magnesium levels, you aren't forcing an erection like a pharmaceutical drug does, which can be hard on the heart. Instead, you are restoring the structural flexibility of your vascular system. You're oiling the hinges, so to speak. The result? Better blood flow doesn't just happen in the bedroom. You'll notice your muscles feel fuller, your hands and feet feel warmer, and that heavy feeling in your chest during a walk starts to dissipate. You are quite literally becoming more fluid. But here's the catch. Even if your blood vessels are ready to go, they won't do a thing if your command center isn't sending the hormonal signal. And that signal is only manufactured during a very specific, very fragile window of the night. What if the reason you're tired isn't because you aren't sleeping long enough, but because you aren't sleeping deeply enough to trigger your manhood hormones? Let's talk about the factory floor of your body. Most men think testosterone is something that just floats around in their blood at a steady level all day. That couldn't be further from the truth. Your body operates on a very strict delivery schedule. Think of your brain like a high-end manufacturing plant that only runs the testosterone production line during the night shift. Specifically, about 90% of your daily testosterone is manufactured during the first 3 hours of deep wave sleep. Not light sleep, not the dreaming state we call REM, but that heavy, dead to the world, restorative sleep. Here's the problem. As we cross 45 or 50, our night shift starts getting interrupted. If you're waking up to pee, tossing and turning, or even just drifting in and out of light sleep because your nervous system is buzzing, you're effectively shutting down the factory. If you don't hit that deep sleep window, your body simply skips the testosterone production for that day. It doesn't catch up tomorrow. It's just gone. This is where magnesium becomes your most powerful hormonal ally. Your nervous system has 2 gears: sympathetic, fight or flight, and parasympathetic, rest and digest. Most modern men are stuck in fight mode. You're lying in bed, but your brain is still calculating taxes, worrying about the kids, or replaying a conversation from work. Magnesium acts as the off switch for that mental noise. It binds to GABA receptors in your brain. GABA is essentially your body's natural Valium. It's the neurotransmitter that whispers to your nervous system, "You're safe. You can let go now." Without enough magnesium, those receptors stay empty. Your brain stays on high alert, and your cortisol, the stress hormone, stays spiked. Now here's the medical why. Cortisol and testosterone are on a seesaw. When cortisol is up, testosterone must come down. They cannot both be high at the same time. By taking the right form of magnesium before bed, you are forcefully lowering your cortisol, which allows the seesaw to tilt back in favor of testosterone production. But before you run to the pharmacy, I have to give you a serious warning. If you grab the first bottle you see on the shelf, you're likely buying magnesium oxide. In my clinic, we call that expensive diarrhea because your body can only absorb about 4% of it. Still with me? That shows you're serious about your vitality. Have you ever wondered why you can sleep for 8 hours and still wake up feeling like you haven't rested a single minute? Now we've reached the part where most men unintentionally sabotage their own progress. You go to the big box store, you see a bottle labeled magnesium for $5, and you think you found a bargain. But in the world of male biology, the form of the mineral is infinitely more important than the dose on the label. I want you to imagine you're trying to refuel a jet engine, but you're trying to pour the fuel through a pinhole. That is what happens when you take magnesium oxide. This is the most common form found in cheap multivitamins. It has a tiny bioavailability rate, usually around 4%. This means if you swallow 500 milliliters, only 20 milliliters actually makes it into your bloodstream. The other 480 milliliters stays in your colon, where it draws in water and acts as a harsh laxative. You aren't getting stronger. You're just spending more time in the bathroom. To fix your erections and your sleep, we need a VIP pass that gets the magnesium directly into your cells and across the blood-brain barrier. There are 2 gold standard forms I recommend to my patients at the Men's Vitality Hub. 1. Magnesium glycinate. This is magnesium bound to glycine, an amino acid that is a powerhouse for relaxation. Think of glycine as a double down on sleep. While the magnesium relaxes your muscles and dilates your blood vessels, the glycine calms your brain. It's highly absorbable, up to 80%, and it's incredibly gentle on the stomach. If you struggle with physical tension or restless legs at night, this is your primary tool. 2. Magnesium l-threonate. This is the brain-specific version. It is the only form scientifically proven to cross the blood-brain barrier effectively. If your main issue isn't physical tension, but rather a racing mind that won't shut up about work or finances, this is the one you need. It's like a cool mist for a localized fire in your prefrontal cortex. However, even the perfect form of magnesium won't work if you take it at 8 a.m. with your coffee. Timing is everything. If you miss the metabolic window, you're essentially throwing your money away. By now, you understand that magnesium is the foundation, but if you want to move the needle from okay to optimal, we need to talk about synergy. In medicine, synergy is when 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, it equals 10. To truly unlock your hormonal potential, magnesium needs its teammates on the field, zinc and vitamin B6. When these three are combined, we call it the ZMA stack, and for a man over 45, this is the closest thing to a biological reset button we have. Let me explain why this trio is non-negotiable for your vitality. First, let's look at zinc. Think of zinc as the security guard for your testosterone. As we age, our bodies produce more of an enzyme called aromatase. This sneaky enzyme has one job. It grabs your masculine testosterone molecules and converts them into feminine estrogen. This is why many men notice man boobs, increased belly fat, and a drop in libido as they get older. Zinc effectively handcuffs that enzyme, preventing the conversion and keeping your testosterone levels high and usable. Then we have vitamin B6. Think of B6 as the delivery driver. It is required for your cells to actually absorb and utilize the magnesium and zinc you're taking. Without it, the nutrients just circulate in your blood without ever getting into the engine room where the work happens. B6 also helps produce dopamine, the chemical associated with drive, motivation, and that spark of sexual desire. The Dr. Christine protocol. To see the results my patient Mark saw, you need the right ratio. I recommend magnesium glycinate 300 to 400 mg, the foundation, zinc, picolinate or citrate 30 mg, the guard, vitamin B6 as P5P 10-15 mg, the driver. Now, let's talk about the timing window. This is the part most men get wrong. You must take this stack 30 to 60 minutes before your head hits the pillow. Why? Because we want the peak concentration of these minerals to hit your bloodstream exactly when you enter that first stage of deep sleep. Taking it with a warm, non-caffeinated herbal tea, like chamomile, can actually amplify the effect. Chamomile contains a compound called apigenin that works on the same receptors as the magnesium, creating a cascade of calm that prepares your body for the massive hormonal rebuild about to take place. In a moment, I'm going to give you the exact daily blueprint, the literal hour-by-hour schedule I gave Mark to help him reclaim his morning erections in just 14 days. But first, you need to know how to track this, or you'll miss the subtle signs that your body is healing. Consistency is the bridge between a good idea and a new life. To get the results we're talking about, you can't just dabble. You need a blueprint. I want you to treat the next 30 days like a clinical trial where you are the only patient. We start with the environment of success. Your bedroom needs to be a testosterone sanctuary. This means it must be cool, ideally between 65 and 68 degrees, and pitch black. If your brain senses even a sliver of light from a digital clock or a street lamp, it suppresses melatonin, which in turn keeps your cortisol high and your magnesium from doing its job. The evening ritual schedule, 9 p.m. Dim the lights. This signals your pineal gland that the sun has set, starting the natural hormonal shift. 9:30 p.m. The digital sunset. Turn off the smartphone and the TV. The blue light from these devices is a biological alarm clock that tells your brain it's midday. 10:00 p.m. Take your ZMA stack with a full glass of water or tea. 10:15 p.m. Spend 5 minutes on pelvic floor resets, simply tightening and releasing the muscles you'd use to stop the flow of urine. This sends fresh, oxygenated blood to the pelvic region just before you sleep. Now, how do we know it's working? You're going to keep a vitality log on your nightstand. Every morning, I want you to check 3 boxes. Did you wake up feeling like a zombie, or did you feel recharged? Did you experience a morning erection? Yes, no. Did you hit a wall at 2 p.m., or did you stay steady? By day 7, most men report that the mental fog begins to lift. By day 14, the morning signal usually returns. This is the most emotional milestone for my patients because it's the physical proof that your plumbing still works. By day 30, your baseline testosterone has likely climbed into a new bracket. But what happens if you don't see results immediately? There is one hidden thief that can steal all the benefits of your magnesium, even if you follow this protocol perfectly. I'll tell you what that is in the final summary. Gentlemen, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've moved from the frustration of soft performance to the biological reality of mineral depletion. I want to leave you with a final thought on why this matters so much. This isn't just about a supplement, it's about reclaiming your identity. For too long, men have been told that losing their drive, their sleep, and their erections is just a natural part of getting older. I am here to tell you that is a half-truth. While we all age, suffering through depletion is optional. When you restore your magnesium levels, you aren't just taking a pill, you're giving your body the permission it needs to rest, to heal, and to perform. Remember my patient Mark, the man who thought he needed a lifetime of blue pills just to feel like a husband again? He didn't have a Viagra deficiency, he had a recovery deficiency. By simply fixing his nighttime protocol and giving his body that 3-hour testosterone window, he saw a 40% increase in his natural levels in just 90 days. He didn't just get his function back, he got his confidence back. He stopped feeling like an observer in his own life and started feeling like the lead actor again. That hidden thief I mentioned, it's alcohol. If you take your magnesium and then have a nightcap, you are flushing the minerals right out of your system and blocking the deep sleep we work so hard to get. If you want this to work, give your body a break from the booze for these 30 days. You have the blueprint, you have the science, and most importantly, you have the power to change your trajectory starting tonight. Don't wait for someday. Your vitality is waiting for you on the other side of a good night's sleep. If this deep dive into male biochemistry helped you understand your body a little better, please hit that like button and subscribe to the Men's Vitality Hub. Our mission is to keep you strong, informed, and vibrant as you age. Age is a number, vitality is a choice you make every night.